Hi everyone, today is the day to discuss Beethoven's Sonatina in E-flat major, a wonderful precursor to his sonatas. And this particular sonatina was written when he was only 13 years old. It's in sonata allegro form, which means there's an exposition, a development section, as well as a recapitulation. And we see some fabulous traits of Beethoven already in this early piece, where he likes to contrast piano with forte. He likes to add in themes in his exposition. So not only do we have the first theme and the second theme, but we also have some interesting other themes in this exposition. And then let's see, I'm going to take you through some technical issues that either you will have or your students will have, and I will help you to understand how to practice them efficiently so that you can play this piece gloriously. So here we go in the very beginning. So that's the first theme and a little bit of some other things thrown in as well. So here we have a portato in measures 1, 5, and 30. So the portato touch release, you can certainly look at other videos of mine so that you understand how to play that particular touch release. It makes the sound bigger, stickier, and grander. All right, so the next little part I want to go over is measure 8 and 17. So in measure 8, we have a whole bunch of wedge notes followed by 3-note slurs. So we have... So it really all depends on what you want to hear in this section. So what I just did here was I did 2 kickoffs and then I did a woodpecker. So if you like that sound, that's the way you do it. If you want to have them all be strong, oh, I have a harder time with that. But if I want to do that, I want to make them all into basic staccato touch releases, but they actually are called what I call hammer strokes, which you can also look at on my other videos. So if you really want to have that strong sound, you certainly can do that with those physical gestures. And if you're going to play that in a slower speed, then that probably works. But with an allegro cantabile, you might want to resort to a nice mix of kicking off and woodpeckers. So now we have the second theme. So this lovely theme is in B-flat major, so it's dominant of the tonic, which is completely normal for most sonata movements and sonatina movements. And that's the end of the exposition. So the second theme is where the cantabile comes into play, doesn't it? So cantabile is a wonderful Italian term for singing. And in this section, I'd like to talk to you about measure 15. We have a series of 16th notes and then 2 wedge notes, which means that they're even shorter than staccato. So how do we have ourselves play this or our students play this? You could have them practice with a little push off and another push off. So if we only played with woodpecker touch releases, it's going to be way too hard to get out of the key, and students won't be able to play it that quickly. So practice it like that with a push off and then another push off. Oh my goodness, this is the exact same little pattern motif that Beethoven uses in the Beethoven Minuet in C major, which is in Succeeding with the Master. So you can certainly look at that easier piece where I describe how to work on that technique. So in measure 17, oh my goodness, now we have a pattern like that, which ascends. So have the student think about that as one impulse or one gesture. So we're going to have the student push off on the very last note of that little pattern. And then there's another one on beat 3. And this is where the upper arm comes into play, the free arm. If a piano method doesn't talk about a free arm and how important it is for body-friendly technique, I probably would steer away from it, because we want our students to feel like they're holistic at the instrument, that they can play without tension. So that's another great place where the student feels that free arm, but also the power goes through their arm from their upper arm and shoulders and back so that they can push off the keys. Then in beats 2 and 4, I know this is getting a little complicated, but this is what we need to do when we want to play pieces absolutely marvelously. Now this is another pattern. This one is now descending, and we're not going to have any time to do all those push-offs. So why don't we go ahead and have the students play a kickoff and then a little push-off at the end. Kickoff and then a little push-off. And then when they get faster at it, then it'll really sound good articulation-wise. Now let's take a look at measures 20 and 21. Oh my goodness, these are challenging. So we not only have double thirds, which the student can block in the first stage of learning a piece with both hands. The first stage of learning a piece is also when the student should be playing like this. Detached and thick. That way they are really focusing on the correct fingering, on the correct notes, and they're staying close to the keys, and they're really listening for steadiness of tempo. Then also in the first stage of learning a piece, they can work on play, prepare, practice strategy. So that means you can choose for them to start on the third beat or the fourth beat, and then we stop on the last note and we say, ready, look, move. And they move to the octave. Otherwise, if they don't use play, prepare, practice strategy, I don't even want to play what happens, because they could play the wrong keys. So, ready, look, move. There we go. And the left hand is simpler. Ready, look, move. Because they can still hold on to their thumb, which is good. Okay, so now the next thing I want to say is let's have them do that 7 times in a row. So either starting on the third beat or the fourth beat, and play preparing 7 times correctly. So then we could have them try it up to tempo. Ready, look, move. Ready, look, move. Ready, look, move. Oh, good, I've got it. Same thing with your left hand. Oh. Ready, look, move. Ready, look, move. It's better, actually, if they just don't play it. And then they'll be ready to play it after they've played the ready, look, move with that impulse 7 times in a row correctly. Okay, so now when we get into the second stage of learning and the third stage of learning, we're getting our students to play this piece up to tempo. So a wonderful practice strategy would be backwards practicing. So in the right hand, I'm going to start actually on the third beat. And then I'm going to move it backwards to the second beat. Oh gosh, I was so excited about that move. Oh my goodness, I got to do that again. And I used another play prepare just to be sure. So have the students again focus on that, practice it 7 times correctly, and then try it up to tempo. Okay. So that's what backwards practicing does, because you know what happens when students just try to play long figures of notes, they're going to get stuck and they're going to make mistakes. We have to remember that the important number is 7 to 9 of anything is what our chunking should be. So that's why we say 7 times of repetition or 8 times repetition is right on target. And 9 notes, that's the limit as to what the student should be focusing on at any given time. And there's all kinds of data, scientific data, saying that anywhere from 7 to 9 of anything is a great way to focus. So for 7 to 9 of anything, we could say 7 to 9 beats or notes. So up at 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that constitutes a unit of practicing, right? So we have a really great way to teach our students how to play these wonderful, wonderful gems. Something else I want to talk about is you can start to teach them these practice strategies towards the end of, really towards the end of succeeding at the piano. Things like unit practicing and what was the other thing that I would use all the time? Play, prepare practice strategy I use at the very beginning of succeeding at the piano and piano success. So students really learn how to practice well. Okay, so that's just the exposition of the Beethoven Sonatina. And then I think I'll go on with the development and the recapitulation in another video.